Okay, hello everyone. We are going to be looking at section 1.5 quadratic equations and all different forms to solve them. So first we're just going to look at what a quadratic equation is. By definition, a quadratic equation is an equation that can be written in the form of ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0, where a, b, and c are in the set of real numbers and a cannot equal 0. If a were to equal 0, we wouldn't have a quadratic term anymore, which makes a quadratic, so we have to have an a value that's either positive or negative, and it cannot equal 0. This is a review. We had this in the appendix section. Standard form when the terms of a polynomial are written in decreasing order of degree. Beginning with the highest degree term, and the equation set equal to 0. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the highest degree term, and in a quadratic the highest degree term is the second degree. So a is the leading coefficient, or we can also call that, add this in, the coefficient of the quadratic term. B is the coefficient of the linear term, and C is the constant. All quadratic equations are also known as polynomials of degree 2. That's a 0. But they can have 1, 2, or 3 terms, but they always have to have the quadratic term. So let's look at a couple examples, and it says, state whether the given equation is quadratic. If it is, write it in standard form and identify the coefficients a, b, and c. Well, in example 1, we need to move the 81 over to the same side so we get this in standard form. So we have 3x squared minus 81 is equal to 0. And you can see that this has 2 terms, and the highest term is of the second degree, so this is quadratic. That is our standard form, which we have written there. And a is equal to 3, b is equal to 0 because we have no linear term, and then c is equal to negative 81. Okay, in example 2 we have 3 terms. The squared term, the quadratic term, is the highest degree, so let's put this in standard form. Negative 4x squared plus 12x plus 9 equals 0. Yes, that is quadratic. A is equal to negative 4, B is equal to 12, and C is equal to 9. If we take a look at example 3, we have a quadratic term, a linear term, and a cubic term. That makes it a non-quadratic. So we're going to say this is not a quadratic. 5x cubed is a cubic term, and that's not what we're looking at in this section. In example 4, we have 0.5x squared equals 0. This just has one term, and it is quadratic, so the entire equation is quadratic. It's already written in standard form. A is equal to 0.5, B is equal to 0, and C is also equal to 0.